Hello, my name's Dan Dodds. I'm the principal attorney at the Dodds Law Firm in Surprise, Arizona. You know, one of the most legitimate and most frequent questions that I'm asked during a consultation is, well, Dr. Dodds, how much is this divorce going to cost me? And that's a legitimate question, one I'd ask myself. But let me explain something to you to set the context for what I'm going to tell you about my answer. There's only three ways to bring closure to a divorce proceeding. And the cost, whether it be financial or emotionally, that the parties are going to incur during the divorce proceeding is entirely, and I underscore that, entirely in the hands of the parties, not the attorneys. And that'll be more clear to you when I finish talking about the options. So, what's the first way and the least expensive way to bring closure to a divorce petition? Well, the petitioner files a motion to withdraw their petition for dissolution. Now, usually that's the product of one of two things that have occurred. One is they've kissed and made up. Not a very sophisticated term, but one that almost all of us understand. They apologize to each other and they say, we're better together than we are separate. Why don't we just end this divorce? The other way, which is often frequently seen, is while the parties are not getting along, they at least will agree to attempt to go and enter into some kind of formal or informal marital counseling, which, with the involvement of a third party, often will help them resolve the differences. Then one of them, typically the petitioner, would file a motion to withdraw the petition. That's, again, as I said, the least expensive way. The second least expensive way is that the parties agree to enter into a negotiated settlement agreement. They get that agreement, and then they agree to enter into a consent decree with the court. And many times there isn't even a trial, much less a hearing. So that is moderately expensive because they will typically have the attorneys passing back and forth proposals of how we might be able to settle the differences, and they try and find a way where each side wins something and each side has to give up something, but they can live with it because they think it's in their best financial and emotional interest to negotiate that settlement. Now, what's the most expensive option? They take their differences to trial and they let the judge decide. That's the most expensive option. Why is it the most expensive? Well, you've got to prep the witnesses, you've got to prepare all the exhibits. If you're going to have witnesses, you have to bring them down there. It's usually 2 or 3 hours of the day that you're paying attorneys and judges and everybody to be there. And the judge will make a decision. But the problem is this: you never can bet on which way the judge is going to rule. He might view that the petitioner's position is the strongest and most legally correct. He might say, well, I'm not going to go that way. I think the respondent's legal position and arguments are there. So one side walks out of the courtroom very happy. The other side walks out wondering what just happened to them, but they know they got a big legal bill they got to pay. The worst outcome is this: the judge splits the figurative baby. They don't give either party everything they want, but they don't make every party pay the price, and so neither party's particularly happy, but they still got this large legal bill to settle up. And who's paying that legal bill? Well, the marital community. It's your money that's being spent. Unlike a civil litigation, they're spending the company's money. In a family law matter, you're spending your money. And that's the factor you want to keep in mind. So, if you want to know or have the best control you can have to keep the cost of litigation down, then one of those three options have to be achieved. And I will tell you that probably 75% of our clients will choose option 2. Maybe 10% will kiss and make up. The other parties recognize that we're going to have to spend some money to get this negotiated, but we don't want to go to trial. And that's where most people are. And if your attorney's a good negotiator, which some people seem to think we're pretty good at that, I think that brings a fair and reasonable outcome to the dispute. Probably 20% of our cases, somewhere in that nature, people are so isolated or so entrenched in their position, they say, I don't care win, lose, or draw, I want a judge to decide this. Okay, but those are always going to be the most expensive of the three options. Well, I share this information with you not to depress you, but to give you a reasonable basis to be able to predict on how much your legal bill could be based on which of those three options you choose to pursue. If you'd like some additional information or guidance about your family law matter, please, and I invite you to call my office, and they will find a time that's convenient for you and I, and we'll sit down and we'll talk and hopefully help you understand how our law firm can perhaps help you at the most affordable price possible to get out of a concerning or complicated relationship that just isn't being very fruitful to continue. Nice visiting with you, and I hope this information has been helpful to you.